Welcome to the Dirty 30, first episode presented by Stone Sports. I'm your host, Dubs, and with me I have the incredible Bobo Jones. What the fuck is up?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Good. So something we don't really get to too often on Stone Sports is fantasy football. You and I both play a ton. You more than me, but I wanted to go through the week this week. We're in a dynasty league in its first season called the Dirty Dozen. PPR scoring, standard shit. Hence the name of the show. So if you hear us talking about the league, scoring, anything like that, that's in reference to that league. So I wanted to start off the week by, like I said, going through a recap of what happened. It was a shitty week for me, not so shitty for some others, but we'll start with the top fantasy point getters at positions. We're going to go through QB first. I'll let you take it away.
All right, number one, we had Kyler Murray with 34.5. Second was Mahomes with 33.2. Jared Goff came out of nowhere with 29.9. And Jameis Winston, Mr. LASIK himself, 29.6.
The new eyes were working for him.
Dude, apparently, man, he had no interceptions. It was crazy, dude. And they beat the shit out of the Packers.
Birdie asked me on the show, on the actual show the other day, that if we thought Aaron Rodgers threw that game. I was like, no, there's no way an NFL quarterback threw that game. But could have fooled the casual viewer watching that one.
Dude, he looked horrible. And then it's like, well, that's what you get when you skip. You skip training camp and, you don't play in the preseason and all that shit.
Right.
Like, I mean, I understand his argument. He wants to win. He's old. Like, he's getting old. You know what I mean? Like, he just wants to win, and they don't put shit around him. It's like with Brady when he was in New England. If they just, look what happened, they put a team around him.
Right.
I mean, they went unfucking defeated, man.
Right.
I mean, they lost in the Super Bowl. That's another discussion for another day, but, put some guys around him. Devontae Adams isn't enough. It's just like with the Bulls. Pippen wasn't enough for MJ, you know what I mean? They needed to go get Bill Cartwright and John Paxson, you need to get some pieces around him, man. I understand.
Yeah.
He's mad.
I feel you. Number 5 you said was Brady?
Yeah, 29.1.
Thursday night game?
Yes, when he was slinging all around. But, I like Brady. I like starting Brady, and I'm good with starting Gronk, but it's like the other three wide receivers, we touched on it earlier, we were talking about it. It's, throw a dart at the board and pick one of them.
Yeah. The Tampa Bay offense it's a confusing one. It's like the Patriots offense was in fantasy for so long. You just don't know who's gonna. And they have way better weapons than we ever did, but.
Yeah, which one do you start though? Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I know
it's the same predicament.
if you have Evans and Godwin, you're starting them no matter what. You
right.
know what I mean? But it's like, I don't know. It's like a crapshoot of who's going to actually score. Because I had Evans in another league and only scored like 5.4 points or something like that. Something stupid. So, all right, but moving on.
Yeah, let's get to the running backs.
Mr. CMC, welcome back. 27.7. Joe Mixon had 25. Jamal Williams from Detroit had 25. DeAndre Swift had 24.4, and Nick Chubb had 22.1 fantasy points.
Get to Jamal Williams in a little while with our surprises of the week.
Yes.
Receivers?
All right, Amari Cooper on the Thursday night game, he had 38.9. Tyreek Hill had 37. Deebo Samuel with 31.9. Adam Thielen at 30. And Corey Davis with 26.
Big week for Corey Davis with no Jameson Crowder.
Yes.
Zach Wilson needed somebody to throw to, right?
Yes, someone has to catch it.
That's the name of the game in fantasy, volume. Somebody's got to catch it.
Yes, but apparently he's getting good volume. So
apparently.
I'd feel comfortable starting him every week,
Speaking of volume, we'll move to tight ends.
Yes, and number one volume getter of all time, Gronk. The Walrus had 26.5, and T.J. Hawkinson, who...
I'm a big Walrus guy, by the way.
No, I know you are. Hawkinson had 25.7, and, dude, his volume is going to be insane. because they're going to be getting crushed pretty much in every game because their defense is suspect.
This is something we didn't really get to much on Stone Sports this week, but that Niners Lions game was a shit show in itself.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that San Francisco's defense was like, yeah, we're up by 28 points. We're gonna mail it in, you know. And then they started coming back on.
It rolled over and died, and then went, oh shit.
Yeah, man, they took their pads off and everything. They're like, yeah, I'm good. And then they're like, no, you got to go back in. All the starters are like, you got to go back in. Dude, imagine they lost.
It would have been Falcons-esque.
Yes, it would have. But, I mean, Jared Goff, everybody wrote him off. To finish it
Jared written off Goff.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm telling you, he peaked. But anyway, Kelsey... was at number 4. He had 25.6, and number 5 is Juwan Johnson. He had 17. That kind of shocks me.
Yeah, well, that
kind of came out of nowhere.
Perfect transition to our surprises. Juwan Johnson was on there. A few of the guys you listed are going to be on this list. Juwan Johnson among them. So if you want to get to him first, we can do that.
I just think it's a mirage.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think he got lucky. Like a lot of people this week overachieved. You know, they went well beyond, what they were supposed to get. I mean,
two of the guys we mentioned,
cool
Corey Davis, Jamal Williams, they're also in that boat.
Yeah. Yes. And my number 1 surprise is Jameis Winston.
He went off.
Dude, he only threw for 148 yards, but he still had 5 touchdowns.
Right.
And that was just the first game and, a new system. So imagine when they actually opened it up and then he's like throwing for 400 yards and 6 touchdowns. Jameis Winston, he might throw a lot of picks or whatnot. I mean, he probably won't now because he just fixed his eyes and shit. But he can throw the long ball, and that's something Drew Brees didn't have.
Right.
That old weak arm was only good for like 20 yards before it lost its zip. So, but Winston can just chuck it, right out of the stadium if he wanted to.
Yeah, he's got a phenomenal arm, and if he's able to pair that with everything else, it's going to be a scary combination in New Orleans.
Dude, he had no picks. None. He only threw for 148 yards, but still, he had no picks.
I would be saying, like, shame on Tampa for letting him walk, but, like, they got Tom Brady in a ring out of it, so you can't fault them. They're not going to complain about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I still don't think Jameis Winston would win a Super Bowl.
No.
If the game's on the line.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Do you think Jameis Winston's going to... If you need 6, is he going to do it?
Yet to be seen.
Is he going to be like Hasselbeck when game's on the line? Or like Brett Favre a lot. When I was a Packers fan a little while growing up. When I first got into football. And I liked Brett Favre. But when the game was on the line, he would throw a pick sometimes. You know what I mean? I've watched plenty of games of his.
And then he goes and retires. He comes back with the Jets. Makes a couple Wrangler commercials.
But yeah, that's what I think. Like a Winston game on the line, he's not the guy.
Fair enough.
And my other little surprise was Tyson Williams.
The Ravens running back. Yeah, he kind of got handed the job on a silver platter due to all the knee injuries, but he showed up in a fantasy aspect.
Yes, he did. Still, you tote the rock for 69 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
I think he caught a couple passes too, and not for a lot of yards, but for number 4 number 4 or 5 on the depth chart, and all of a sudden you're number 1, and then like Lamar's handing off to you, and you're just doing your thing, like it was your job anyway. It's just the only thing he's lacking in is pass protection, which.
Now, before we get to our next little bit here, I got a couple questions for you on 2 players specifically. Melvin Gordon had a pretty good week, 20 points, 11 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Did he re-cement himself? Because there's a lot of questions and talk circulating him and Javonte Williams, who's going to be the starter, getting more fantasy value out of which one. Did Melvin Gordon cement himself and sort of kill off a little value from Javonte Williams with his good game, or do you think Javonte Williams is still bound to take over that role soon?
Yes. Okay, so this is my take on it. I believe for the first 5 or 6 weeks that Melvin Gordon is the guy. You know what I mean? But I think when it comes later on, like week 8, 9, 10, maybe after their bye or something, the rookie catches on because he's still a rookie.
Right.
But yeah, I think by the end of the year, it's Javonte Williams' job, and Melvin Gordon is the second running back. And remember, Melvin Gordon likes to get hurt a lot, so
Right.
you know what I mean. But as of right now, if I have Melvin Gordon, I'm starting him.
Yeah.
But I'm flexing him. He's a flex for me.
Fair enough. And my second question, Amari Cooper, huge week. With the Dallas offense, you have Amari Cooper, you've got Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott. Is Amari Cooper going to be a bona fide number one receiver in fantasy this season with Dak back, or is this almost 40-point game sort of a flash in the pan? He's still going to be consistent. It's Amari Cooper. He's still their number one receiver on the depth chart. He's still going to be a fantasy option, but he's going to be a top guy this season, like he showed on Thursday.
Well, yeah, because first of all, when Dak needs it, he's going to Amari.
Right.
You know what I mean? CD hasn't really proved that yet. You know what I mean? So
he had a couple drops
Amari Cooper
early
is
in
the
that
number
game
one.
too. CeeDee
He
Lamb.
did, but he hadn't played in a little while, right? I think he was. Oh, CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, he did. He started off slow, but then he caught on. He caught wildfire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just caught fire, man. And I think he's a bona fide number two, but I think Cooper is still in the pecking order. You know what I mean? Because he's the veteran. You know what I mean? And you're not getting what do you have? 13 or 14 targets?
I think more than
And
that.
their defense Their defense stinks. Oh yeah, because he caught 13 balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, he caught 13 balls. So yeah, he had a shit ton of targets, man. You know what I mean? So like he's getting it, but their defense stinks, as you could tell. You know, but you know what's crazy? I don't hear no one
They gave
talking
so
about?
much money to that defense for it to stink.
Yeah, I know. The Lawrence and they
Jalen
drafted
Smith,
that-
Leighton Vander Esch, and then they went and drafted Michael Parsons. The Cowboys were a mess.
Yeah, they have the Diggs as a corner.
Yeah.
All I know is that they're going to have to throw a lot, and I'm going to touch on this later for some waivers back on the Dallas. But Michael Gallup is out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So someone else is going to have to step up. He's gone for 3 to 5 weeks with an injury, so they're going to have to throw, dude. It's just they're always going to throw. Now Dak's going to ball. So, but Amari Cooper is the number one, and I think
Amari Cooper had 16
have-
targets.
dude, they have 2 number 1 receivers.
Right.
You know, CeeDee Lamb by the end of this year is probably going to be averaging close to 30 points a game. Both of them. You know what I mean? Because as it goes on, he's going to get better and better and better with Dak back. Because last year he played with, Andy Dalton and
Fair play.
Ben DiNucci, I think his name is. I don't know. Something like that. I'm not
DiNucci,
sure,
Garrett Gilbert.
but yeah, it's some weird dudes. So now he's back this year with the guy. And as long as Prescott stays healthy. Dude,
What's
Dallas
got
should've
Garrett
won that
Gilbert?
game. Zerline missed. I don't blame him for missing a 60-yard field goal.
Greg's a
That's asking
leg.
lot. Yeah, but the other one he missed was like a 42-yarder.
It was a gimme.
Yeah, that's the game. You think they still win? Do you think Tampa drives down and scores a touchdown? I mean, they just had enough time to kick the field goal.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they probably would have come up just short.
Yeah, so then, who knows? Dallas is 1-0 and the Tampa's 0-1.
Right.
But
And one game
so-
can mean everything in the NFC East. But next up, I wanted to get to some disappointments.
yeah, there's always the tops, and then here comes the bottom.
Yeah. Can I give the one that made me the most angry first? Brandon Ayuk.
Shoot, man, shoot. Yes.
Absolutely fucking killed me. I had him in daily fantasy. I had him on my dynasty team. He didn't do shit. He didn't even have a target.
Yeah.
Not a target. He wasn't
I
on the
flexed him
field until the second quarter.
Well, he had a late hamstring come out on Friday. And apparently Debo Samuel and Sanu are like way better than 50% of Brandon Ayuk. You know what I mean?
Apparently.
Samuel killed it, but I don't know. He's like a gadgety guy for me. You know what I mean? I think.
And having Ayuk in a
he's like a
dynasty,
boomer bust.
I look at his skill set, and then I look at Trey Lance coming in, and it just looks like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, Jimmy Garoppolo's not the guy.
No, and we
Yeah,
talked about this on the
he's
show
not.
too. I think he's going to be out before the end of the season.
Yeah, he should. Like, after a while, if they lose a couple of games, we'll see Trey Lance. The more Trey Lance does when they do bring him in, like Chicago's doing with Justin Fields. The
Right.
more you see him, like, you're just gonna know that he's the guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, clearly Justin Fields is the guy in Chicago. Like, they need to be starting him. You know, it's doing him no good on the bench.
Absolutely no good. Derrick Henry, another bust.
Yep, he had 10.1 or 9.
10.3.
10.3 fantasy points. That might be game flow.
Yeah, and the Cardinals just absolutely killed them. They were passing for
Dude, they
most of the
didn't kill
game.
Dude, they didn't kill them. They fucking mollywalked them. All right, dude, they got fucking smashed.
They curb stomped all of their teeth onto the pavement, took their lunch money, and dipped on a bicycle.
Yeah.
A sweet
Julio
BMX
Jones
bike.
Julio Jones didn't really.
Julio didn't do
anything
shit.
either.
AJ Brown didn't do shit. The whole Titans offense didn't do shit.
And dude, it just straight stunk. Only Tannehill. He had.
And they still
one
have no
touchdown and a
pass
rushing
rush.
touchdown.
Kyler was able to just run all over them. I mean, that's
Yeah.
evident. He was the top QB
You know,
this
and
week.
it's crazy.
Ran all
Vrabel's
over
supposed
me,
to be
too.
this Defensive guru, and he's fucking. Their defense is always like middle of the pack. You know, they're like 18th or 19th. You know, it's not good. Najee Harris.
Another bust.
20 something carries,
2 drops.
6 points.
He looked
Some shit.
absolutely dismal in the passing game.
He did. And now he could run. He had some, he busted out.
He showed
good
some,
runs,
yeah, he
but
showed a couple flashes on the ground.
The line is suspect, man.
Yeah,
line is
the
suspect.
the Bills are really fucking good too. Their defense is phenomenal.
Yeah, no, they are. And that's another disappointment, too, is fucking Josh Allen.
Yeah, he kind of put up a dud. I had 2 teams. I had the Steelers defense and the Buffalo defense, and I was worried about it. And both of them ended up doing pretty fucking good. Like
Yeah,
the Josh
no,
Allen got shut down a little bit. The fucking Steelers, their run game, like we said, wasn't really getting much. They're getting pressure on Ben, getting into the backfield on run plays. So Najee Harris.
No, but the Steelers defense, the Steelers defense came to play, though, when it
mattered.
You know, that block punt with that touchdown.
Oh, yep.
Oh, man, that was beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
17 points from that Steelers defense, which is still available in some leagues.
Is it really?
It's
crazy. It's criminal, dude. It's freaking criminal.
They're rostered in 41% of leagues, which is crazy.
I don't understand. Well, unless people are like streaming defenses.
Which
they
is
stream a lot.
understandable, but the
Some of the
Steelers'
leagues.
defense is a top 5 defense.
Okay, dude. You asked me about a couple players earlier. Now, okay, let me run this by you.
All right.
I was thinking of dropping the Patriots defense after week 3 because their first 3 matchups are sweet.
Their first 3 matchups are maybe 2. We just talked about Jameis.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think they could shut that down. I think Matt LaFleur. I don't know who his defensive coordinator is, but he might be new. Matt LaFleur is like a rookie coach still. This is his 3rd year, so I don't know. But I think Bill could shut down Jameis Winston.
Packers defensive coordinator is Joe Barry.
Is he? Okay. I've never heard of him. But you might want to go back to the drawing board.
He was D coordinator for Washington, name redacted, and he was a linebackers coach under Sean McVay.
Okay. So he's coming over from that Rams and Riverboat Ron defense.
Yep.
I don't know. Well, he might want to call them for some tips. Cause
It ain't working.
No, they're not. I mean, but they all had a rough day. Even though OC,
I would have walked in, looked at the defense, and gone, that guy just got LASIK eye surgery, and you let him throw for 5 touchdowns. You are an NFL defense.
Dude, what throws me off is the 148 yards
It's a lot.
that Winston had.
Yeah, it's a lot of
148 yards. That's it.
It's
I mean,
not a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns.
yeah. I mean, it's 20 points for the touchdown.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then it's and then you get what? For every 25 yards, you get a point. So 148. So we had 5. So we had 25. Yeah, 25. So, I mean, I like him if he bumps it, but in our league, someone has him. I
Right.
can't think off the top of my head who has him, but He's actually, I think he didn't even start him either. I think he's sitting on his bench.
Jalen Hurts sat on my bench this week. Not fun. Yeah.
No, I'd start him.
So we got through some disappointments. Do you want to go on to some people you want to get from the waiver wire this week, if there's anybody to look out for?
Okay, so out on the waivers this week that I looked at, who's still out there is Goff. Jared Goff's still out there on the waiver wire.
Jared written off Goff
for like 16 points. He was written off, but dude, their defense just lost Jeff Okudah. It's their best defensive player.
Wasn't playing like it.
So, I know, but it's kind of hard when you're the best guy and there's 10 guys that ain't. You know, there's 10 guys that stink. I mean, what do you want him to do? He can't play all the positions. But trying to play all the positions probably got him hurt. But he's done for the year. And look at San Fran. They just ran all over. I mean, I don't know if it's because it's, San Francisco and they're just really.
No, the Lions' defense is garbage.
It's just because, the Lions. Yeah, they got a lot of holes in them.
And they're going to have to be passing. They're going to be playing behind in games. They have receiving backs. Like, they're going to... Jared Goff is not a horrible... Especially if you need to stream a QB.
Dude. Yeah, Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift just combined for almost 50 fantasy points. You know what I mean? Like, he was throwing to them. Hawkinson had 25. So them three alone was like 75 points.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, he's chucking it. And Goff himself had 29. So... they're going to be behind. They're going to have to throw. So, I mean, I'm talking about it. After we're done with this, I might just go pick them up. No, but...
selling yourself on these waiver pickups.
And then this one is kind of just like a stream thing. If, like, you don't like your quarterback's matchups this week or whatnot, but Taylor Heineke, he's playing the Giants.
The Heineken.
Yeah, I mean, dude...
Stone Sports is a big fan of the Heineken.
Listen, all I know is that when Fitzmagic was in there, Terry McLaurin,
not a target,
Thomas, not a single target. But when the Heineke got in there, he fucking was lighting it up, man.
Killing
so,
it.
McLaurin had targets. Yeah, McLaurin ended up, salvaging a little bit. Logan Thomas caught a touchdown and ended up with 11 points at the end. So, I think he was doing it better than Fitzy anyway. You know what I mean? The only thing is he might not offer is what Fitz does. If they're like 3 yards out, Fitz will run it in for a touchdown and you get that bonus 6, but you're not going to get that from Heineken. And I went over to running back and it's
barren.
Like, I don't know.
Barren.
Just like a freaking desert, man. It is dry. The only thing I'm thinking about is maybe Jermichael Hasty. And this is like a stash because he did come in. Kyle Shanahan was like, hey, man, Mostert got hurt. You want to come in and run the ball? He said, okay. So he ran in, got a touchdown, ended up with 8.8 points.
And they love to just throw their running backs around. They have...
and Mostert's hurt. He's done for the year. So that leaves Sermon,
Mitchell,
Hasty, and Mitchell. Yep. So... And
if one of them goes down, Hasty's going to be getting a hefty amount of touches. So I like that as a stash.
I think he gets a bump anyway because he knows the system. He knows the system. He was there last year.
Yeah, he might get the rub over Sermon, who is healthy scratch week 1.
Yeah, so... and then I moved over to wide receiver. I still don't understand why he's out. This guy's out on the waiver wire. It's fucking criminal. It's Tim Patrick for the Broncos. Jerry Jeudy's out. He's done for a couple weeks. This guy came in, he averaged 13. Well, he ended up scoring 13.9 fantasy points. It's a flex play, but, I mean, it's a start, and he's still out there. So, you got to throw it. You know what I mean? There's Fant, and there's Sutton. And the other guy, I think, is KJ Hamler. So, they're, Hamler and Patrick will be out there. So, if you just need a little stash or you need a little bump, I grab him. And Cedric Wilson from Dallas. They only had 5.4 fantasy points, but Michael Gallup is out for 3 to 5 weeks. So Cedric Wilson was on the field.
And they were slinging it.
A couple times. Yeah, and they're going to be slinging it because their defense stinks. Again, they're going to be throwing it. So Cedric Wilson, wide receiver 3 for them right now because Gallup is out. And over at tight end, there was Jared Cook. He had 10.6 fantasy points. He's the starting tight end for the Chargers. They got that Parham guy, too. I think Donald Parham, that kid, but, he's
it's going to be Cook's jobs. It's going to be Cook's job.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, again, who are you going to throw to? The veteran or him. And
Yeah.
then finally,
The only thing that shies
over-
me away from Cook is the amount of other mouths to feed in that Charger offense, but I still like Cook as a deep tight end play.
Well, if you look at the Chargers real quick, who they got? They got Eckler. They got
Allen,
Keenan Allen.
Williams.
And okay, Mike Williams. Okay, I couldn't think of the other receiver. Yeah, then Jared Cook, right?
Yeah. So you're looking at option
is he
4.
third?
He's got high touchdown ceiling though.
Yeah, but I think you would need a touchdown from him to get something, like
Yeah.
4 catches and a touchdown.
I would take
You know what I
that.
mean? 4 catches, 30 yards. And
You
a
take
touchdown.
that. We take those.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And then finally for tight end, I had Conklin out of Minnesota because
Irv
is
Smith,
out.
one of
Yep,
your
and,
guys you wanted to draft this year, high on.
Yes, I was all in on Irv Smith this year, man. I was bummed out when he got hurt. But Conklin, he stepped in. He had 8.1 fantasy points. It's nothing to write home about, but he saw 5 targets, I believe. He caught 4 of them for 40 yards. So, I mean, he saw some looks from Cousins. So it's going from Thielen to Jefferson, Cook, and then maybe to Conklin, who's pretty tall. So find him in the red zone.
Fair play.
Again, Irv Smith is out, and Kyle Rudolph plays for the Giants, I believe. So, and I think maybe a defense to stream, maybe Carolina Panthers.
Who are they playing this week?
I'm not 100% sure who they are playing, but I like them. They showed up against the Jets. I mean, I know it was the Jets, but
The
they're all
Panthers
over the
are
place.
playing Jameis this weekend.
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I still like them to play. I still like them, man. And this is why.
You can also you
If
get
you
them.
can create pass rush with your front 4. You create pressure. That leads to.
Also, if you're
plays for
picking
back
up the Panthers defense, they do have the Texans week 3, so that could be a pretty favorable matchup.
Yeah, they were out there, man. I started them. I rolled them out at DFS. So.
Nice.
I like them. You got a defense to stream?
I have to look at the free agency here, but one of the defenses that I noticed that was not being picked up very often was the Dolphins defense.
I like them too. Like I said, I play other than this league. When it comes to fantasy, I'm a straight up junk box.
Right.
Like I need my fix, so I play the maximum in ESPN.
Also, a defense that surprised me this week. This is actually a good one to stream if you're able to get it. The Eagles.
Oh, you like the Eagles?
And they're playing the Niners next week, who went off against the Lions, but this could be a good test
Okay.
if you're looking for a defense to stream. And then you want to get rid of them after that because then they play the Dallas and Kansas City weeks 3 and 4. But if you need one this week, possibly the Eagles, maybe Miami,
Yeah.
Carolina, as you said. Sorry, go ahead.
Like I said, I like Carolina because they create. They can get pressure with their front 4.
Yeah,
And that
and that's
Bobby
key.
Burns kid or whatever his name is, that dude is a freaking animal.
Brian Burns, yeah, he's a beast.
Brian Burns, yes.
He's an animal.
Dude, he's everywhere. So yeah,
Lastly, I wanted to go through some people to stay away from, and maybe some people that you think are gonna have a bounce back week, and then we'll do a little league recap and we'll get out of here.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go for my bounce back, and I'm gonna say Jonathan Taylor.
You think he's gonna have a huge week this week?
I think he bounces back because I think I don't understand why they didn't run the rock. I mean,
He still had 17
they threw
points.
on him. I know, but I expected more, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people invested a first-round pick on him. Like,
I did.
high, and like I said, I took him.
I have him in
7
every
rounds in
league.
A bunch of leagues. Yeah, man. Like, I got him in a shit ton of leagues, too. And, 17, I'm like, what? I expected him to just get behind Nelson and just freaking go. And it bummed me out, man. And also Antonio Gibson.
I was actually talking to Dakota, and he was saying he was really unimpressed with the Colts line this week.
Yeah, it was shit, man. It's like, when I live out here in Indy, and it's like I root for them when I can't root for the Pats, but it's like they fucking I don't know. I don't think Wentz is it. Thought if anybody would get something out of him, it would be Frank Reich, who was, whispering in his ear when he was over there in Philly. So I don't know. But I hope he
how about
bounces back,
Henry?
and maybe Gibson, and Derrick Henry and Najee Harris, man. Like, also Kyle Pitts, man. Like, what happened to Kyle Pitts? Like
Yeah, Kyle Pitts,
thought he was
bad.
gonna-
Another disappointment.
dude, I thought he was gonna freaking ball out. Like,
I thought Philly's secondary was not as nearly as good as it was. They shut Atlanta down. Excuse me. 32-6 in that
Also,
win, but go ahead.
Yeah. So and I had some breakouts this week, and it was gonna be the Bengals wide receivers.
Tyler
all of
Boyd,
I think all three of them eat this week.
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase,
Chase.
and T. Higgins.
T. Higgins
This
got
week,
carted
I
off.
think.
Is he
Yeah.
playing?
I know, but he came back in though. He came back in and finished the game. So
I didn't even see that.
I think he was dehydrated. That's because I was checking, and it's like he still had the questionable tag on there, but I believe they said he cramped up, and they brought him in the back and they gave him IV and fluids, and then he came on and he finished the game. I believe that's what they said, but that's I have them breaking out this week due to the matchup.
How about Devontae Smith? That's a guy I like this week.
Dude, he's an absolute steal. He was going in like the late rounds.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like it's criminal. He's
He's
the number
gonna-
one wide receiver.
He's gonna be a big daily fantasy guy for me this year.
Yeah, I played him last week.
Cheap
too.
option, high
On your
output.
advice, I went with Hurts and I went with Devontae Smith.
Worked out. I should have listened to my own advice and played Hurts, but whatever. So we'll wrap up here, going through a little league recap, go through who won, who lost, and then we'll get out of here for the week.
All right, so we had one Doponky grabbed a W, Cuckoo Kachu grabbed a W.
The ball fondlers, they beat me.
Yeah, you.
I got smacked around.
Hold on, I'm looking at it here.
Team Hogan,
You did.
they got a huge
I'm
win.
looking at the wrong one. Yeah.
Team Hogan
Cole
had
Beer got a win.
173.
Hogan got a win. Ball Farmers got a win, and the Wadi Dynasty got a win.
Good for them.
Lowest points of the week goes to Dirty Duff and the Dudes. Same man that shelled out $28 for Mark Ingram on the waiver wire. What the fuck are you doing, man? Like, seriously, $28 for Mark fucking Ingram, man?
He's panicking. Mostert went
Shit,
down.
man.
Javonte Williams laid an egg. He's got
did,
Deshaun
but
Watson
I'm
on the
telling you.
roster. Etienne,
I mean, I'm just-
Dobbins. He's just grasping at straws at running back.
I know, but for $28,
Yeah, no one else wanted
you
him though.
only get 200, man. You only get 200. I think the next lowest scorer would
That'd be me.
well, that would be you, sir.
That would be me.
92-16.
How about the high scorers? We got Hogan, 173.
Grassman, 163.
In a loss.
Yeah.
Played the
Duke
high
squad.
scorer.
Yeah, Duke squad at 142. After that, it would be Mr. Greasy Operator, and then the Ball Fondlers.
Ball fondlers were projected like 180 after the 1 o'clock games, and I was scared.
Obviously, some of your guys came around late, but what's crazy is Team Hogan. Like, dude, every single player on his team went off. If I was the grass man, I'd be upset that I fucking threw out 163.52 and lost to 173.
I'd be
You know what I
pissed.
mean? Like, everybody just was like shot straight through their projections, man. Dude, they went to the moon, man.
Big week from them. Big week from us. First episode of the Dirty 30. Throw that in the books. We'll go ahead and get the fuck out of here. We'll be back next week with episode 2.
That's right. Everybody.
Say
See you
goodbye.
later.
Peace.
Bye.